You got that. Oh.
He's laughing at me. My wife.
Praying that you don't actually hit him because I don't know how to get our crypto.
Look, he's looking at. Oh, come on, man.
Well, the most viral knockout we ever had was. Oh.
That's dope.
I'm here with President Awesome Karate Combat. If you guys have not seen this, it will absolutely blow your mind. You guys recently actually went viral for some crazy moments.
Definitely.
There were two.
Yeah.
Right? I happened to be witness to both of them in person. You choked the shit out of a dude. He was in that corner. I saw him. He got angry. He came in, and you choked him out.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You have
sir.
security for that, you know.
Of course, you're very right. But you know what? This guy was so athletic. I mean, he dodged like 4 security guards. Right, they took him down. He broke the grip, and he was actually amazingly athletic and technical. And I'm like, okay, let's just put him out safely. And I must have gotten over 80, 90 million views, which is pretty crazy. And then that knockout, that has to be knockout of the year for combat sports.
Careful not to stay in the
Definitely well over 120 million views on that one. It was nuts. It was really nuts.
Yeah, for anyone who missed it, it was on Rogan. Rogan was in Austin,
Yes,
actually, but
yes.
this was in Orlando. It was on Rogan. I was over here. It happened right here. It was one of the most impactful moments I've ever seen in a positive and negative way. Positive for you guys that it goes viral, but you're here and everybody's having fun and they're
You're right.
cheering for it, and then you see and you're like, you might be dead.
And the sound was just terrible. And to be honest, I know you said positive. It's only positive because he recovered and he's okay,
yeah.
right? But it was a very scary moment in that, one, we're scared of his safety, and then two, if something like that, God forbid, happens, I don't even know how we'll address that. That could be something very scary, you know, because I want to protect the fighters. That's something important to me. I was a fighter. I also coach high-level fighters in the UFC, and I used to coach fighters in karate combat. So that scares me as a coach and ex-fighter. You know, and I would never want that. So thank God it's good.
Yeah, of course. So listen, we're in Nashville. For people who don't know, it's a 9,000 person arena. You walk in, Dolly Parton's on the wall. Like this is one of the most iconic arenas and venues. And 9,000 people is absolutely huge for you. So
it's a huge goal. It's a big leap and jump because considering our biggest event so far was Dubai with about 5,500. So, you know, almost doubling that is ambitious, but we're just exponentially growing just every event. The viewership is absolutely insane. You know, Dubai did like 52 million streaming views across platforms. And then social media on Fight Week itself was over 190 million views just Fight Week. And then we stopped calculating. So it's getting crazy as far as viral ability. Now we're really pushing the boundaries with a 9,000 person arena. Of course, I'm going to be nervous about it. But I feel like we can do it.
yeah, I feel like you can do it because literally every person I know here for the Bitcoin conference, this is the singular thing that they're the most excited about. Everybody's talking about it. I think it's really built that groundswell. But I want to talk about why you even started this, right? We're here in the pit. Very different than a cage. I don't think people can tell that when you're live. When you're live, though, like being on the edge of the pit and looking down into the fight and the blood. There's really, the spectators are leaning on the pit. You're really in it, and it kind of gets a video game Mortal Kombat vibe.
And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted that Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter vibe, and I think we pulled it off, you know? This is the single greatest platform you could have in combat sports for many reasons. One, like you said, the viewership is perfect. You know, you're looking down into the pit, you get a full view of the fight, where many times the cage and ring, the ropes are in the way, the fence is in the way. It doesn't give that same view. Plus, all of our cameras, the production value is so much higher because you get that perfect view. On top of that, gets very, very technical, so I don't know how interesting this is, but because of the slants on the wall, if I back up like this, right? If you fall on this slant, you're helpless.
Yeah,
so
I've
what
seen
that
it.
does, that
Not
forces
like the ropes.
fight. Exactly, not like the ropes. It forces the fight in the center and creates more action. So that's why we love
And
it.
dudes get their ass whipped when that happens.
Oh yeah.
What's the rule, by the way, on because if you're not grappling, they can just unload, right? But if you wrap them up, they call you back.
Okay, so that's the great thing. The rules are quite simple. Imagine MMA, imagine the UFC without the submissions and without the holding. So essentially, anything that can create stalling is completely illegal. It's a pure striking art. So that's why there's just so many knockouts. You have punches, you have knees, you have kicks, and very flashy kicks. These are karate combat guys.
Yeah.
What I love about it is when you think about boxing and kickboxing, when someone drops, they stop it and they count. It's quite unrealistic because in a real fight, you just finish them.
Yeah.
Karate combat, you can go ahead and finish them. You have your ground and pound. It's just a pure striking art where you can strike from every possible position.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts when you see it in person, seriously. But people might ask why you would be at crypto events now, right? Because you're not always. Like when I went to the one in Universal in Orlando, it was just purely fighting. There wasn't really that element, although there were a ton of crypto people there.
Definitely.
But now you've really found this sort of beautiful marriage with these conferences and that, but that's because there's actually a crypto element to it.
Of course. So here's the thing. We are the first sport in history to be completely tokenized, right? So we're powered by crypto. And, the founders are really big into the crypto scene. And it was sort of their idea to do this and make history. And it's so cool because the audience has just gotten behind us. The whole crypto space has gotten really behind karate combat and fallen in love. So it's kind of cool because we found our niche and we're doing something special. I truly believe a lot of sports are going to follow those footsteps and get into crypto as well because of what we're inspired.
Yeah, so talk about how it works. There's obviously the app, there's the token, there's I don't know if you officially call it betting, but you do it in a compliant manner, so
Yes.
you've actually found a way to do that. But there's the karate token, and effectively you can take.
You're going to love this.
Yeah.
So it has so much utility in that you control the league. So I'll explain how it is. For instance, the simple way, we have something called up-only gaming where you can vote on fighters, your favorite fighters, to win. If they win, you earn more tokens. And for now, you don't lose anything for a certain time period right now. We're doing this up-only gaming where you can gain ownership rather quicker, so to incentivize people to join. And it's just skyrocketing as far as users go right now. What's also cool is we're continuously evolving the art and karate combat. You can vote on rule changes, on matchups. You want to see a certain world title fight, you can vote on that. And what I love about it, this protects the fighters a lot. Because again, look, me as a former coach, me as a former fighter, we want to protect the fighters. And a lot of these leagues, they're underpaying the fighters. It's hard for fighters to make a living. The fighters, when you vote on them, get a percentage of those tokens as well. So they can grow with the league. And as the league grows, they grow as well. And that's so incentivizing to that.
How many of those guys are coming back at each and every fight? Is it getting to the point where you're having sort of the celebrities who are the fighters, and then you have the new blood? And
Exactly. So the big thing before with karate combat, and you would have this superstar that was doing well, and then they would leave and go somewhere else. And that was a big problem, right? Because you want to build stars, you want to build storylines behind the fighters. Right now, all the fighters, their dream is to be karate combat world champion. Coincidentally, we have a very big superstar coming in today, and he's one of those guys. Just a born star here in the pit, absolutely viral. He's the most viewed fighter right now in karate combat. So he'll be coming in soon. His name's Shazay Brind. You type him in on YouTube, there's not a video with less than 200,000 views on all his videos. It's just nuts. And he has the most viral fight for karate combat. His full fight, over 2 million views on just YouTube. And then his social media, Twitter, Instagram is just insane.
I gotta say, Rogan walking in Austin, that wasn't planned, right?
No, definitely. All these celebrities, that's one thing to point out too. All these celebrities you see are just coming in organically. It's not like we're paying for special guests to be here. They genuinely want to see the show. And that's such a cool thing because you're seeing the biggest names in the world.
He loved it.
Oh, he loved it. Oh, he absolutely loved
Because
it.
it's sad. He was right there. I mean, he was sitting
Exactly.
there, he's chopping it up with the crowd. He was one of those dudes who just kind of felt it's like one of us.
Exactly.
He was in the crowd. He wasn't, no pretension.
No.
A bunch of security.
And what's happening right now is guys like Rogan, Ariel Helwani, Michael Bisping, all the biggest names in the sport, constantly organically they're mentioning karate combat every week on their podcast. I mean, if you go to Joe Rogan's last 5 podcasts, he had to mention karate combat. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've shown that knockouts.
I know. The knockouts are viral. Some are rough to see, but they're beautiful. It's an art, right? It's a beautiful violence.
Okay, so let's say we fill this 9,000 person arena tonight, which I'm telling you, I think I've talked to 9,000 people who are coming. So I'd imagine what's next.
Okay, so our next show's in Singapore, which we're also joining, right? We're joining that crypto conference as well.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, apparently, that's going to be bigger than this. So I'm talking to all the people coordinating it. I have to get the exact size of the arena. But, I think the founders of Karate Combat really believe in myself and the team that I've gotten involved. So they're really pushing us to grow this thing as fast as we can. And we're doing it thus far. So Singapore, this will create the momentum for Singapore.
Yeah.
How big that event will be.
Yeah.
And it should be huge.
For those who don't know, that's a token 2049, which is like, you go to crypto conferences in the United States and you think it's fun and it's whatever, it's a little muted. You go over there and it's like Coachella for crypto. Bear market, bull market, doesn't matter. And also Formula One
Yes.
is the same weekend.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
I've been there the last 2 years for Formula One and for the conference. You have no idea.
Oh,
Man,
I
it
can't
is going to be, you're going to feel, I don't think there's an arena big enough for you.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that. You're very right. I totally forgot about that. So that's a huge opportunity. And also the fights that we're putting on for Singapore, we have special plans with big names. And the gentleman that had that insanely viral knockout that you're talking about, he's back. Main event fight.
I think my boy Mario Knopfel is doing
Oh,
one of
you're
the
right.
celebrity fights.
Yes.
That's my business partner.
Okay,
So
okay.
in Austin, he was sitting at the desk with those guys, and he called out our other partner, Rand, who I don't think is going to fight him. But I don't know who Mario's fighting yet. But he just told me the other day that I had to make a video for Karate Combat, so I think you got it.
No, he's the main event, I believe, for the IFC
He's
for
gotta
the
be.
influencer fighting. Yeah.
Talk about influencer fighting, because that,
my God.
I'm gonna be honest. So they had the boxing first, which was in Dubai, which
Yes.
was not Karate Combat. There was
No.
some celebrity influencer fight club, and I thought it was sort of like dumb.
Yes.
First of all, they're boxing, and everyone looks awkward boxing if you're not a boxer.
Definitely.
But then you guys kind of ran with it in a different angle, and it's become absolutely huge. And some of these fights have been wild.
Phenomenal. And here's the thing that's crazy. With Karate Combat, we have a bunch of legends that are working with us. Boss Rudin, GSP, all UFC champions, just Wonderboy Thompson, Lyoto Machida, really icons of the sport, right? Now, before the first IFC, we all stood back, including myself, and we're like, I don't know about this. The founders wanted it, and we're like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then we did the press conference, and all of a sudden, these guys are so eloquent, so educated, they speak so well. It was one of the most fire I've ever seen in a press conference. And I'm like, okay, let's see if they can back it up. When they fought, it's almost like you strip away, maybe the strategic aspect, and they're fighting with their heart. So they're showing their heart. It's a different type of entertainment.
Yeah.
Boss Rudin, who's our commentator, stopped commentating, stood up and started filming on his iPhone. He wasn't able to commentate anymore. He was so entertained.
It's a street fight. It's a bunch of scrappy people. Maybe they've never even fought. I can't even imagine the adrenaline of stepping in here if you're not a fighter.
They had something to prove. Oh
lose
my
your
God.
breath. I mean, you
Oh.
can't breathe. It's gone in a second.
It was crazy. BitBoy fought in the main event, and I'll never
Changed
forget.
his whole life.
It did.
It did.
And I never forgot, because when he was on the corner, he told his corner, and maybe you don't know this, he's like, I can't do another round. I give up. I can't do it. And I'm sitting here hearing him, and all of his corner stopped him. He's like, you're going to do it. You're going to go out there and get it done. And he went out there, and wow. He showed tremendous heart. He earned the love of all the fans in the arena. It was so cool, man. I love IFC. I love it.
He went from a hero to zero to hero story. And I know Ben, so I know he's got heart. I think that's incredible. So listen, how big can this league become? Like, we still got MMA fights in Vegas, and
You're right.
and
So what's
30,000
cool-
person arenas.
You're right.
Like, can this be a name brand?
And that's what's really special, because we set ourselves apart. We're not trying to copy anybody. And I think that's what's unique about us, because a lot of people want to copy the UFC. But the UFC is on a league of its own as far as the MMA goes. We are a striking league. We're not copying their cage. We're not copying anything. We have our pit. We have our production team. We have these beautiful lights. It's completely different. The rule set is different. And because of that, it's easily separating us on our own platform. And that's why it's skyrocketing so much. When you look at the other striking leagues, they died out. And the viewership doesn't even compare to ours. And I think that's why you just see this crazy exponential growth. So I truly feel that we will be the UFC for striking organizations. I mean, we're proving it right now.
Yeah.
My team and I have only been involved with Karate Combat for 7 months. So Karate Combat has been here for 5 years.
Right.
I've been president for 7 months. And I truly feel that my team and I have really brought in that growth, and that's why you see it everywhere. You know?
Do you miss fighting? You want to get in here? Will you?
So-
forget that. Do you miss it? Would you take a fight still?
So I'll tell you this. It's crossed my mind because the founders have always asked me about it.
Of
They're
course,
like, "Come on,
I know
Asim."
that it would be the viral.
It would be
event.
insane, right?
Yeah.
A combat sports president fighting. I don't want to do it for a lot of reasons. Still, the hunger will continue, and I won't want to stop. And I'm a married man now. I'm a very loving husband. I love focusing on my wife. I want to have children. I want to have a family. When I start fighting, I get to like a dark side of myself that I haven't touched in a long time, and I don't want to touch that guy anymore.
When Mario was like accepting the fight, they tried to get me in. Kind of started offering some numbers and stuff.
Oh, no
I
way.
used to box a little bit when I was young.
Okay.
But 20-something years ago, nothing. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I'm 47. I've got a wife. She's over there. Kids. I was like, and you're fighting. Who knows? Man, one like errant elbow or something,
You're right.
and like
You are
there,
right.
there it all goes.
You're
For
right.
what? For me. You
Of
know what I mean?
course.
But like these big sort of guys with no kids in here in their 20s, the influence. I get it, man.
And you know, look, I coach some of the highest level fighters on the planet. You know, some of my fighters have the record for most submissions in UFC history. I have a fighter with the most finishes in UFC history. So I have some high level guys. I decided one day to spar. And I talk so much crap on the group chat to my fighters. I'm like, guys, tomorrow I'm gonna beat all your butts. So you guys have nothing on me. I just started talking trash the night before. I don't know why I had it in me to do this.
Of course.
The next day I put on the gloves. And I get in the cage with one of my fighters, and he went so easy on me. He was very obviously letting me win, and I realized I am by no means
We're not
able to
aware.
compete with these guys anymore. Like my own students, you know, my own students are far better than I am. I can't do it anymore, you know.
I
So
gotta ask you, why don't they wear anything on their feet? It seems like a foot is way more dangerous than a hand.
oh wow, what a freaking great point. I'll tell you this.
When I saw that kick, I was
You're
like,
right.
damn, they're wearing gloves.
I'm
You
gonna
could
tell you
kill
this.
somebody with the foot.
You're gonna be shocked right now. Most people believe the gloves are to protect someone's face. The gloves are there to protect your hand so you can hit harder. See, if you go and punch a wall, you'll hurt your hand. If you put on a wrap and then a glove, you can go ahead and punch that wall and not break your hand. So it's actually to create more damage. Your foot and shins don't need that because they're strong already.
Yeah, man, I used to watch
Isn't
the
that
videos of
pretty
the Muay Thai
crazy?
dudes kicking the trees.
Oh
with those
yeah.
shins, so, like,
Oh yeah. So like that's a crazy thing a lot of people don't know about the gloves is to protect the hands so you can keep throwing your hands.
Man, it's amazing to me that you get these amateurs in here to do that, knowing that.
I know, man. I don't know how the IFC fighters do it, but hats off to them. It's pretty amazing what they show.
Well, the fight tonight's going to be epic, man. I'm going to see you in Singapore, too. I can't wait to see this grow and to go get my up only.
Let's do it.
Thank
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.